East Side, incorporated in New York City, and we're excited to be the 2026 AARP Community Challenge Grantee.
We are Divine Revelations Ministries Incorporated, or DRMI for short, creators of the renowned Geeks and Gramps program. We are here in the historic Frenchtown neighborhood in Florida's capital city, Tallahassee.
This is the city of Smithers, West Virginia.
We're a Coral Bay Community Council in St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands.
We're the town of Clarkdale in Clarkdale, Arizona, and Yavapai County.
From Trainers Tomorrow in Trainer, Iowa.
We're Farmington neighborhood from Athens, Georgia.
From Westside Pacific Villages in Los Angeles, California.
From the city of Watoma in Wisconsin.
From the Friends of Sandy Bonnet Park in Honey Island, New York.
We're Ponca City Main Street in Ponca City, Oklahoma.
We're Louisville Visual Art in Louisville, Kentucky.
We are St. Cloud Main Street in beautiful St. Cloud, Florida.
From United Way of Greenville County in Greenville, South Carolina.
From Walk, Massachusetts in Boston.
And we are thrilled,
Excited, ecstatic,
happy.
We are thrilled, and I mean thrilled.
We are pumped.
We are ecstatic.
Excited to be a 2026 AARP Community Challenge Grantee.
2026 AARP Community Challenge Grantee.
AARP Community Challenge Grantees.
AARP Community Challenge Grantee.
AARP Community Challenge Grantee. Yes!
To be a 2026 AARP Community Challenge Grantee. Thank you.
Yay! Well, welcome everyone. If you're joining us on live stream, you're hearing the applause of staff in AARP applauding that incredible video that we just saw with Community Challenge grantees from across the country. Thank you so much for being here today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Watson. I'm the director of AARP Livable Communities, and I'm really pleased to be here to welcome you for a celebration of 10 years of impact with the AARP Community Challenge. Now, as I mentioned, we have a group here in the room in AARP's headquarters celebrating this, and we also have hundreds and thousands of people joining us online. So welcome. Thank you for joining us virtually and being with us here today to celebrate this really momentous occasion for AARP. Now, this program is something that has grown over 10 years. I mentioned we're celebrating 10 years of impact, and that growth has been dramatic over this time. I remember this being a pilot 10 years ago, and today we're announcing a historic investment. We'll hear a little bit more about that later in the program, but we're very excited about the growth over this time, and mostly we're excited about what this program does on the ground. It turns ideas into impact with murals in communities across the country, improved sidewalks so people can walk, trails so you can accessibly visit and access the outdoors. So really important, meaningful projects. And as I mentioned, this is our largest investment in this program to date. Again, we'll hear a little bit more about that from our AARP CEO, Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, who will join us in a few minutes for a video, along with AARP's Executive Vice President for Community, State, and National Affairs, Nancy Lamont, to share a little bit more about the program's history and impact as well. Now, this is a program that stretches nationwide. I want to acknowledge the grantees who are joining us here from all 50 states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the many others, supportive partners and others who are here tuning in as well. I especially want to thank our partners on the ground and our grantees. Thank you for being part of this program and letting AARP, trusting us to work with you and support your work. This work does not happen without you, and we thank you so much for trusting us to be a part of that. I also want to thank our partners across the country, but also nationally, who are helping to support and fund this program. Toyota Motor North America this year is providing support to fund projects that are going to improve people's lives and make communities safer for people who are walking and focused on pedestrian safety. And Microsoft is providing funding to expand digital connections to people all across the country and help train people on how to access new technology. So really excited for this great collection of people inside the building here at AARP and virtually. We do encourage you, maybe not if you're in the rooms because we want you looking here, but if you're joining virtually, really encourage you to follow along on social media using the hashtag AARP Community Challenge. Again, that's one word. I think we're all familiar with that at this point, but it is one word, AARP Community Challenge. So with that, I would love to kind of introduce our CEO, Dr. Maisha Minter-Jordan, who joined us for some pre-recorded remarks recently. She's going to share a little bit more about the investment and a little bit more about the program. So we'll kick it over to Maisha.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to everyone joining us today. To our community leaders, partners, volunteers, grantees, and colleagues, your presence here says something important. It says we share a belief that where we live shapes how we live at every age. 10 years ago, AARP launched the Community Challenge with a simple idea. Communities do not just need long-term plans. They need the ability to act and to see progress now. They need the resources to turn good ideas into real, visible change. And that is exactly what this program has done. Since 2017, 2,100 projects and over $24 million in investment have helped communities take action in ways that people can see and feel in their daily lives. Safer streets, more accessible housing, public spaces that bring people together. That is what livable communities look like. And today, we are building on that momentum in a significant way. I am proud to announce that in this milestone year, AARP is investing more than $8 million in communities across the country, our largest commitment to the Community Challenge to date. This year, we are supporting organizations across all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is not just about scale. It's about trust. Trusting communities to know what they need and giving them the tools to make it happen. Because when you invest at the local level, you unlock something powerful. You create the kind of changes that ripple outward, improving not just infrastructure, but connection, independence, and quality of life. As CEO of AARP and as a physician, I have seen how much our health and well-being are shaped by where we live. It is shaped by whether or not you can safely cross the street, whether your home meets your needs as you age, whether you feel connected to the people and places around you. And this work is personal to me, not just as CEO, but as a neighbor and member of a community myself. That is what this work is really about, and it is why we are just getting started. By 2028, AARP aims to improve the lives of 25 million older adults and support 100,000 tangible community improvements nationwide. That means more moments of independence, more opportunities for connection, and more communities designed with people in mind. So today is a celebration, but it is also a signal of where we are going. We are continuing to invest, continuing to listen, and continuing to work alongside communities to make everyday life better for people of all ages. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Maisha, for those incredible comments. And I think seeing the video from the grantees and then hearing from Maisha just now really brings us home. And I'm really pleased now to be joined on stage by somebody who has been here from the beginning of the program, AARP's Chief Advocacy Engagement Officer and Executive Vice President, Nancy Lamont. Nancy, thank you for coming up.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for. It's nice to do something with a chair. You don't have to stand. Before you ask me a question, and we've cut the number of questions because we know long programs don't appeal to anybody, I do want to join in thanking everybody who worked on it. Mike sent me a list of everybody in AARP who contributed it, and I think it's the longest list I've ever seen, and I've worked on a lot of initiatives over the years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the history in a minute because I think it's pretty interesting, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Edna, who's sitting here. I just told her I was going to announce this was her another going away party. For those of you who are outside of AARP, we have our long-standing Chief Diversity Officer who's leaving us. But importantly, when we first had this conversation in the E-Team, Edna was the one who jumped in when somebody turned to me and said, so how is this going to scale? And helped by saying how important it was and has supported it over the years, especially this last year. So that's my general thank you, and especially to the grantees, some of whom I know are on the call today. We support you and we celebrate you, and more importantly, we want you to know how vital it is that you are helping the people we care about the most in community, older folks, but also their families. So with that, I let you ask the first question.
That's fantastic, Nancy. And I think you kind of did a great setup there, and I'll kind of harken back to 10 years ago. I recall receiving an email from you about 10 years and 6 months ago with this idea that we should do a program like this. And here we are today, 10 years and about 6 months later. You've been here from the beginning of this program. It was your idea. A lot of the work that AARP is doing in the livable community space has been pushed and inspired by you. What stands out to you, knowing that history and knowing where we are today, what stands out to you about today's announcement?
Well, the best thing is I've had a lot of really bad ideas in my career, and this turned out to be a good one. And I was talking to Mike the other day about how it came about, and I think it's an important story, and I think it speaks a lot about AARP, our work on livable, our work in communities. And it was about 11 years ago, you may have gone with me, we were at a meeting with mayors, and I was noticing that the mayors were spending most of their time focused on the federal government officials who were there and the big foundation executives. And it didn't take long to surmise that they were looking for opportunities to get funding to augment their work at home. And they were all motivated by the desire to do more in their communities. And so that kind of caught my attention. And then I started listening to a number of the mayors who were talking about how, you know, I'm mid-size or small city. I can't compete for a big federal grant, or I don't have the resources to do a 6-month plan. And so I got the idea, what if we did small grants and gave them to communities, not only to deliver some direct benefit, but also maybe to leverage more resources. And that was the idea. I thought about it for a while, and then I had the nerve to go to our former colleague, Gene Setzfeld, who immediately asked me 35 questions, and the result was the idea became better than it was at the beginning. And at the same time, I got one of those famous feedback reports from the states. You know, Kristen Dillon, those of you on the line are head of states, you know, like 82 items of things the states had done that week. And there were two points in it. One was a state who'd given $500 to a community leader to paint the park benches that were deteriorated in the neighborhood. And another was, I don't know, maybe $600. And I thought, and I called the state directors, and I said, so what? And they said, you can't imagine how important it is. And I have the money in my budget, I can do it. So that was the basis of the program. My only requirements were, first, it could not be a lot of money, because we didn't have a lot of money for each grant. Second, that the project had to be completed within a very short, reasonable, but short period of time. We weren't funding multi-year efforts, kind of, what are they, 3 months, 6 months, sometimes 9 months kinds of efforts. And the third was that we weren't going to support planning grants. We weren't going to support people going in the room and coming up with a plan. We were going to support people going into a room for a short time and coming out with a solution. And that was the basis of it. And I will say, we started with Maisha. For those outside our community, our CEO, Dr. Minter Jordan. And I met her right before she took over as CEO. The first thing she said to me was, I'm really interested and I really support our local and community work. And from that day forward, this program has been critically important, I think, in how she sees our work, along with what we do in each and every state and community, but also her initiative to say we need to double the size and we need to go bigger, and I hope we can go even bigger in the future.
Well, I love that, and I think all the grantees on the line just all celebrated at hearing you say that at the end, Nancy. But it has been a truly remarkable journey for this program over the last 10 years. And you kind of started here, so you kind of teed up my next question, which is, you've talked about the importance of listening. And you just shared that the kind of foundations of this program came from you listening to somebody. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means in the context of today's investment that we're announcing?
Well, I think one of the great things about the program is we have some areas of focus, no doubt about that. But we didn't prescribe exactly what we wanted to see in this community or this region, and really left it up to the grantees to tell us what was important for them. I have to admit, in the beginning, I was really struck by how many of the proposals were about parks and park benches and kind of aesthetics and providing opportunities for people to be together. As it developed, we had proposals that were linked more to transportation initiatives, more to housing proposals. But really at the beginning, it was about, how can I make my physical environment a little more inviting? And at no point did I ever feel, sometimes you feel this when you're in the public policy world, did I feel this, is it about kids or is it about old people? It's always been about the community. It's always been about families. And I think that's what's really, really struck me over the years. The other thing we learned, we didn't start this way, but we learned after a couple go-rounds that mayors would say to us very explicitly that, I value this program because if I can get $10,000 or $20,000 to start something, then I'm going to be able to find other resources to develop. And we've seen this. I know you gave me some examples. I won't go through them right now. But situations where they were able to start something, and because of the money and being able to start, and because of the credibility of AARP's name, they were able to go to other funders and grow things. And again, we'll be able to send this out afterwards and be able to celebrate it, but what better gift? I mean, what better gift than this program where we're able to help people where they live, and we're able to provide leaders the opportunity while they're doing that to also get additional resources to be even more important. So I love the program. Everybody who knows me knows there's a special place in my heart for livable communities.
Yeah. Well, Nancy, that was very well said. And I was going to ask you if you had any closing thoughts, but I feel like you really hit it on.
I've closed.
Yes.
I've closed, except a special thank you to Mike. I think if you haven't been there literally from the beginning. And Mike mentioned the first email. That was the first of what? 4,500 emails, yeah.
Over the course of a couple months.
Yeah. It's a really tough program to run because it has so many pieces. Think of 5,100 applications this year. We should also mention, I think you're going to mention it later, but so many parts of AARP. Accounts payable is a part of AARP I don't typically engage with, but this program does, and so many others. And we're just so grateful for all of that, and grateful for your leadership and hanging in there. And this is also part of our thinking, our expanded thinking on the network of age-friendly communities. We have over 1,000. We have a number of states, and we're going to be building on that as well. So I'm not taking any more time. I guess I've closed again.
It was a great double up on that closing. I think thank you, Nancy.
Great.
Thank you so much for your leadership and for this. So with that, after going from that great conversation, we now have another short video, about 4 minutes, that we're going to air with some more great clips of grantees and what they're doing out in the world. So I encourage you to watch that video for the next 4 minutes. For our folks on the stream, our folks in the room, stick around. We'll be back with some talking a little bit more about our 2026 grantees. So let's cut to the video, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Across the country, in places big and small, the AARP Community Challenge is helping people reimagine what's possible, one quick action grant at a time. From rural towns to urban neighborhoods, from older adults to young volunteers, The AARP Community Challenge is about people and the places they call home.
AARP has been an excellent partner to work with throughout our land development code reform process. They've been an excellent collaborator.
It's been really great to be able to partner with the Flag City Pickleball Club. It's been great to be able to partner with AARP. We're grateful for the opportunity to work together and collaborate to bring amazing opportunities like this for our residents.
The AARP Community Challenge grant was used to sponsor this design competition, and we're using the funding to award prize money to the 10 selected designers. What we hope they will use this funding for is to create a full set of construction documents that can be used to actually build these houses.
When you get to be above 65, you really are focusing on what some would consider, or what they call in Spanish, la tercera edad, the third phase of your life. And so it's a phase that we want people to enjoy, and we want them to feel welcome in our city.
These are small grants with big impact. They spark ideas, unlock funding, and bring people together. Accessibility is at the heart of this work. These projects reflect the voices, needs, and dreams of people of all ages. These stories remind us, livable communities aren't built from the top down. They're built from the ground up, with vision, trust, and action.
The money helps, but really what it has done is shined a beacon on what we're trying to accomplish here, and to say, hey, we're doing something special here.
This grant has given the power to change a really unloved space into a place that is loved by the community. It'll be accessible to all people, all ages, all ability, all background.
This is going to change lives. People here who previously did not know about this service, that will be able to get them anywhere in the county, they're now going to have access to this service. They're going to be able to visit their grandchild whenever they'd like to. Now they're going to be able to go to the grocery store without having to call the independent service here.
We want to continue to break down barriers, we want to continue to end stereotypes, and we want to make sure seniors who built our city and made the city that it is today feel as comfortable here today as any time in their life.
The AARP Community Challenge is more than a grant. It's a spark, a promise that every community, urban or rural, big or small, can be a great place to live for people of all ages.
Well, welcome back. That video is another powerful reminder of what this program means, what the grantees are doing in communities, and how important this investment is to people's lives. So now is a very exciting portion of the program where we get to share a little bit more and talk about and announce our 2026 grantees. And very excited. You're going to see some names scrolling on the screen here in a few minutes, but very excited today to announce that we are investing $8.3 million to 750 grantees across all 50 states, DC, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands to help support their work and make incredibly impactful progress in older adults and people of all ages' lives at the community level. And that brings our total, we shared this number a couple of times, our total investment since 2017 to $32.6 million across 2,800 projects in 1,600 communities across the country. And that investment is a reflection of the work that grantees are doing. AARP is here to be a partner and support their efforts, and we are so proud to do that. And as Nancy shared, that investment is leveraged into additional resources. You saw in the video that $32.6 million has led to grantees receiving an additional $40 million to support their efforts from private and public sector partners. It's resulted in policies being changed. It's resulted in projects being replicated. It's resulted in almost 50,000 volunteers being engaged executing these projects. So it is incredibly meaningful. And this year and over the last 10 years, we've seen some really core issues being focused on, and we're really excited about the projects this year. First of all, in the public spaces arena, where grants are helping to connect people to public spaces and helping to make them more accessible. We've seen a lot of great projects that are creating community chat benches, where we're adding benches throughout areas of town where folks can sit down and have a conversation with a neighbor, whether they be of similar age or different age. In the transportation and mobility space, we're helping people get around communities. We're making communities safer for people to walk to and from where they want to be. And a great example is in Charlotte, North Carolina, where mobility workshops are helping to train older adults on how to access and use the transportation and transit systems that exist in their community, helping them connect them to a cheaper, easier way to get around town, helping them stay connected to loved ones, and helping them save money as well. And in the housing space, there's so much to talk about here, but a really exciting one is in Reno, Nevada, where our Community Challenge Grant funding is going to support a home sharing program that's going to connect renters and homeowners to help people have a cheaper place to stay that is safe for them and will enable them to remain and living in their community and thriving and have strong social connections. In the digital connection space, we're connecting people with the digital world, and we're helping to train them, like a grant in Ortonville, Michigan, where we're expanding Wi-Fi in a community, but also community members are going to train people on how to access critical services in the online world using that expanded internet access. And then finally, in the disaster resilience space, where one of many projects across the country in Shawnee, Oklahoma, where grantees are receiving equipment to help people stay prepared and get prepared in the event of the ever-increasing weather hazards that we're seeing across the country. So these are just some samples of the many incredible projects that we're funding this year. You've seen some videos. We're going to have a long list running here shortly. But I also want to, again, acknowledge what makes this possible in a lot of ways is commitment on the ground from partners, commitment on the ground from grantees, AARP staff and volunteer force, and also our funders as well. So Toyota Motor North America, again, want to thank them for the investment to support pedestrian safety projects across the country, and Microsoft, again, want to support them for their investment to support projects that are going to help people stay connected in the digital world. So with that, we're going to be rounding out our program here, and I have a few quick calls to action. You've all seen these videos throughout the program. There's so many more of them, and if you want to learn more about these projects, the projects that are being funded this year, there's a few places you can go. First, you can go to aarp.org/community-challenge. That is where we're going to have all 750 grantees that have been funded listed. You can learn a little bit about their projects. You can look at lists by state. You can look at the full list and learn a little bit more about the program. I would also encourage everyone to check out a really amazing resource from AARP called the AARP Livable Communities Map. This is a tool that lists all 2,800 grantees, has photos, videos, a summary of the impacts that have been made possible as a result of those projects, along with the nearly 1,100 members of the AARP network of age-friendly states and communities. It's a searchable tool, so if you want to get inspired, you can type in accessory dwelling units, learn about the grantees that are taking action on that, learn about what communities in the age-friendly network are doing, and more. And then finally, if you want to be the first to learn about opportunities like the AARP Community Challenge or new updates to the AARP Livability Index or new resources being released, encourage you to subscribe to the AARP Livable Communities newsletter. You can do that by going to aarp.org/livable-subscribe, or, and this is where people in the room can pull out your phones, you can pull it out and text livable to 50757. Again, that's livable to 50757. That'll subscribe you to the free weekly e-newsletter that'll share information about what's happening on the ground and all the new resources from AARP. So with that, I want to thank you all in the room for being here today. Thank you to the many hundreds or thousands of people who are joining us via live stream to support today. And I want to say congratulations and thank you to all of the grantees who are being announced today. We are so delighted to be a part of your work. We're so delighted to support you, and we cannot wait to see what you achieve. So thank you again for joining. Folks in the room, thank you for being here, and we'll conclude our program. Thanks.
In Dallas, Texas.
We're Siouxland District Health Department in Sioux City, Iowa. CCMMP from St. Croix,
Can you hear me now?
Virgin
So before you go, I just want to share,
From
we have
Minnesota Valley Transit Authority in Burnsville, Minnesota.
From Project Vision in Lihue, Hawaii.
We're the front door agency in Nashua, New Hampshire.
We're Healthy Peninsula in Blue Hill, Maine.
From Hope Renovations in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
From Flowers Feet Folks in Howard County, Indiana.
From Valley Assistance Services in Green Valley, Arizona.
From Royal Gardens Association in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
From the School of Social Work
and Age Alive
at Michigan State University.
From Soda Springs, Idaho.
We're FastLink DTLA
and the Boo Boo Bandage Brigade
in Los Angeles, California.
Thank you, AARP Community Challenge.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, AARP Community Challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you to the AARP Community Challenge.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Here's to the next 10 years.
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 Here's the next 10 years.
Here's to 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 the next 10 years.
Yeah.